Hey, everyone. Is this the Disappointed Cat Morning Show? I think it is. You want to do something fun? Let's do something fun.
Pair this audio with the last video of your pet.
All right. If you're the cat, maybe that wasn't too fun. But still, I mean, I got a small chuckle out of it. I hope everyone's doing well today. Let's see who's in the comments. Good morning, Scott Duke. I hope you're doing well today. Cryptameria. Hope you're doing well too. Jess M, Tobin Templeman. I have to tell you all that I cannot do the after party after show today. I cannot do the open room. I have a job interview for a job. Another job. I have a job right now, but it's not filling my needs. There's something about my needs that are not being satisfied. So I'm going for another job, and I have to leave here at I have to end the show at normal time, 5 minutes to 10. So no after party after show. I already canceled the show. My apologies. I'm going to cough. I'm going to mute my mic for a minute. So I literally just got a phone call about this interview, and I have to be physically there. My whole morning is in chaos right now, but it's a good kind of chaos. What's up, Sammy? Hope you're doing well. So no after party after show today. I have an interview I have to run to, and so yes, I'll probably say that a couple of more times during the show just to let everyone know. What's up, Derek Cruz? Hope you're doing well. So what are the stories that we're covering today? I'm glad that you asked. We are covering Australia and the rise of the nuns, as in those with no religious affiliation. Marjorie Taylor Greene does a very interesting apology. Even when she does an apology, it still sounds like not smart people trying to form words together in a not very coherent way. So we're going to be checking out that video. It's less than a minute long, but it is fun. There's a Russia rioter. Why did I write down? Oh, there was an insurgent from January 6th who just did an interview with the Russian state television or Russian state propaganda outlet. It's Pride Month. Now, you may all be surprised, but some companies who are branding themselves as LGBTQ friendly, they are actually giving money to fascists, white supremacists, theocrats who want to destroy the LGBTQ community. I know you're all surprised about that companies would be doing such a thing. And believe it or not, we have another story about a rioter who's telling a judge, hey, I didn't do everything too badly. I did say pray for America. Right? Gobbledygook word salad that comes out of these Trump supporters. I have to tell you something. Happy Pride, Jessi Bear. Hope you're doing okay. Simply Secular Dave, Brainbug, Derek Cruz. I was on B's channel last night doing some chatting with Godless Granny and Godless Engineer. I was on there for about 2 hours last night. I know I'm hardly ever on anyone else's show for like 2 hours, but I try to be funny. I try to have some kind of insight. It's difficult when I was sharing a screen with people far smarter than I am, more talented, but I did my best, everyone. So should we do memes? I think we should do memes. Let's do memes. Memes. Here we go. All right, so these are pretty geek memes here. We now set out on our odyssey. What's an odyssey? A long journey named after the only survivor. Oh, okay. Wait, what? I would not want to be part of any trip like that unless it's called like the Andy Seas, or maybe the Catnard Seas, something like that, right? All right, next meme. This is for all you metalheads. I'm sorry for the pun. I'm sorry for the metalhead pun, but I'll be Bach. Obviously, I believe that's Johann Sebastian with the Terminator. See, did you get the pun, the metalhead? For all you metalheads, again, sorry, not sorry on that one. And because we have such a Trumpist supporter theme going on with the show today, Trump supporter, available in small and extra small. Yes, small and extra small. All right. Let's do, you want to do stories? Do you want to do stories? I think we should do stories, right? Like news stories. This is from Hemet Meta. We're going to be talking about Australian ages 18 to 24 don't trust religious leaders at all. The question isn't why people aren't trusting religious leaders. The question is really, why are people trusting religious leaders at all? Could it be indoctrination? It could be that. I think it is probably that. Let's take a look at this story, though, from Hemet Meta, the Friendly Atheist. One of the big shocks from the 2016 Australian consensus was that 30% of the citizens had no religion, a major jump from 22.6% of nuns from 2011. The image of organized religion hasn't improved in the nation since then. If anything, it's gotten worse with the release of a report from a commission looking into child sexual abuse. The Australian Talks National Survey found that 41% of Australians don't trust religious leaders at all, a 6% rise since the survey was last conducted in 2019. Almost half, 47%, of 18 to 24-year-olds don't trust religious leaders at all. That's a jump of 15% points in just 2 years. And that is a pretty large amount. Among the reasons for the change, the pandemic, where religious leaders demanding to keep churches open made everything worse, but science and medicine kept things safe. Of course, the sex abuse. There's always the internet and the ability to question your faith without judgment. The hypocrisy and bigotry doesn't help either. So good news overall. One researcher rightly points out that a lot of nuns aren't atheists at all. Most of them are atheists, apathetic about religion completely. It's not something they think about. And you know what? It's great that people are being less religious. But if I'm going to tell you my dream, I dream of a world full of anti-theists, to tell you the truth. Because this is my hypothesis, everyone. This is my assertion that apatheists could easily turn into theists under the right conditions. Right? It's easy to be an apatheist when things are going well. We've seen time and time again that when things go sideways, when societies don't do well, people turn to faith. I'm going to guess that if you haven't thought about faith that much, if you haven't thought about religion, I'm guessing that you're going to backslide when you're going to turn religious when things go wrong. Not thinking about religion isn't the answer. It's about forming good arguments, refuting their silly assertions, so that when times do go bad, you don't become religious, or people don't become religious. So positive news overall, but once again, I just want to point out, being an apatheist, it's nice, but it's not really a long-term solution. Checking out the chat right here. Wild Eden, good. Is it good afternoon? We'll go with good afternoon. It's morning. It's still morning here, of course. But good afternoon, Wild Eden. David Paul. Let's see. Brainbug's here somewhere. I think I said hello to him. And okay, so yeah. The rise of the nuns in Australia, nice. It's nice that there are apatheists out there. I would just challenge apatheists to think about religion a bit so that they know why they don't believe. Because that's important. Because what I'm afraid of, right, with my own kids, is that if they were atheists, if they didn't care about religion and then they went to college, then they would be ripe pickings for cults there, right? Because you're off alone, you're away from your support systems. And let's face it, cults focus on young people, young and impressionable folks. So I would say that's one of the dangers of apatheism right there. That's why people need to think about what they believe in and why they believe in it. All right. Let's, so David Paul agrees. I've seen what you described in action. Exactly. Simply not believing and not thinking about not believing is not sufficient. You have to know what you believe in and why. Jess M says, there's a lot of nuns here. They have about equal numbers to Catholics in my city. Interesting. Brain bug. I mean, in my pajamas in my home office. I actually have pants on. I usually have my fuzzy pants, my pajama bottoms on. I'm going to be honest with you all right now. But I have to go to an interview at 11 today. And so I have to run out of here at 10. So that's why we're not doing the after party after show. You see what I did there? You see how I just kind of wove that in? I just wove that in seamlessly. Okay, Marjorie Taylor Greene. The question is, how stupid is she, chat? Is she really that stupid to have believed that the Holocaust was equal to mask mandates? I don't think she's that dumb. But she did apologize. And I'm just going to share the video with you all and see what you think, whether or not she's really that dumb or whether or not this was just an act for her to get media attention. All right, how are we looking here? I think we have everything set up.
I believe that forced masks and forced vaccines or vaccine passports are a type of discrimination. And I'm very much against that type of discrimination. What I would like to say is I'm removing that statement completely away from what I had said before. There is no I just want to say there is no comparison to the Holocaust, and there never should be, and that's what I'm sorry for. Well, going to the Holocaust Museum was just a good reflection, and it was good to look and see things there. And one of the things I was reminded of is how terrible their policies were. Discrimination and hate were unbelievably horrible policies, and we saw that in Nazi Germany, and you can see it if you visit the Holocaust Museum.
She acts as if she had no idea what the Nazis were about. But going to the Holocaust Museum, that's the thing that made her go, wow, maybe mask mandates aren't the same as, 6 million Jews dead. Maybe that's the thing. Hey, Wild Eden. Hello. Why, thank you. Becoming a YouTube member. Very nice. Thank you. You can become YouTube members. I just want to point that out to everybody. I don't do enough to promote the channel, and I'm horrible. I'm more interested in entertaining. I'm more interesting about disseminating information. But in terms of asking people to like the video, asking people to subscribe, I'm not really good about it. That's what it is. Simply Secular Dave. What is nuts is that I think this apology hurt her approval rating within her base. Good point, Dave. I think you're spot on with that. And you know what? I'm going to predict she's going to say something super crazy to make up for it within a couple of days. She's going to say something about BLM, Black Lives Matter. She's going to say something about immigrants. She's going to say something crazy about Joe Biden. But she's going to lay off the Jews for a while, right? She's going to lay off the Jews for a bit because she's obviously under a lot of heat for comparing mask mandates to the Holocaust. Cryptameria says, yes, it did more harm than good for her own base. I was at a party. I think I mentioned this when I was in Colorado. I was at a party. Of course, the girlfriend's friend, whenever the girlfriend takes me out in public with people she knows, it's always, you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen. So one of her friends lives in Northwest Georgia. I said, do you live near Chickamauga? She goes, yes, I do live near Chickamauga, because Corey Ryan Forrester, comedian from Well Read Comedy, part of the Trey Crowder crew, liberal redneck, he's from Chickamauga, or he lives in that area, and that's Marjorie Taylor Greene's district. And I'm like, I'm not going to start talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene right now at this social gathering, because I haven't had enough beer to start talking smack. And I want to be on my best behavior, at least. I just met this person. Well, her base is not very bright either. They seem to. Did you see her eyes in that? It's like listening to that kid in high school giving a book report about Nazis, right? Maybe they were supposed to read something like Night or some other literature from that era, and they never read the book, but they got the Cliff Notes or saw a video about it on YouTube. This is what I think Marjorie Taylor Greene did. Did she ever go to the Holocaust Museum? I don't know if she did or not, but she strikes me as that kid in high school who's given a book report on the Holocaust, who never read anything about the Holocaust, saw a YouTube video, and decided to fake a book report. That's what I got from that video of Marjorie Taylor Greene. Remember Sammy Jenkins? Personally speaking, whenever I read one of your comments, I read it in your voice, and I'm always suspecting there's a little hint of sarcasm. That's what I do here. All right, what's the next story? Rioter, an insurgent from January 6th, decides to sit down with Russian media and tell his story. His brave story. And which rioter is this who sat down and talked with Russian TV? This guy. I know you're really surprised that this brave, patriotic American would sit down with a pro-Putin propaganda, company, news source, quote unquote news source from Russia, so he could tell his story. But yes, this clown. Link in the description, everyone. The accused Capitol rioter who put his feet up on Nancy Pelosi's desk did an interview with Russian state TV. Are we really surprised? I wonder if he had his feet up on the desk while he was giving his interview. I don't know. An accused Capitol rioter who was pictured with his foot on Nancy Pelosi's desk during the January 6th insurrection did an interview with Russian state TV ahead of a summit between U.S. President Joe Biden and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Richard Barnett appeared on Russian state TV with his attorney Joseph McBride on Sunday. McBride, that last name, it sounds like some kind of 70s reality and 70s show, right? A 70s show. It's McBride. He protects the insurgents. All right, I'm getting ahead of myself. With his attorney Joseph McBride on Sunday, the interview was first reported on the Daily Beast. Lucia 1 special correspondent Valentin Bogdanov, I'm going with that, FaceTime Barnett for the segment and described Barnett as a colorful individual and an American patriot, according to the Daily Beast. Oh, sure. This guy, well, look at him. Of course he's a patriot. He's got the American flag right there. He's pointing at his genitals. He's got a phone in the other hand. If this guy doesn't have patriot written all over him, I don't know. I don't know who does. In his interview, Barnett complained of jail conditions during his brief imprisonment and said he would fight for the First Amendment. I exercise my First Amendment rights every hour, every minute, every day, and I will never stop, he said. Barnett is facing a number of charges connecting to the Capitol riot, including obstruction of an official proceeding, disorderly and disruptive conduct in a restricted building or grounds with a dangerous, deadly weapon, and theft of government property. Can't they just lock him up? Can't they just lock him up? This guy, if anyone needs to be locked up, it's this guy. I'm going to check out the comments, see what your reactions are. Hey, what's up, B? Like I said, I was on B's stream last night. It was a lot of fun with Godless Granny and Godless Engineer. Was I funny enough? Was I funny enough, B? I don't know. I tried. That's what I did. I tried. All right. Hey, how you doing? A black female atheist? Beautiful peeps. Hey, hey. I like that. Yes, Cryptameria, a real patriot would not have done that. They would not be put. They wouldn't have broken into. Excuse me. They wouldn't have broken into the Capitol building while the senators were confirming the electoral votes. Patriots would not do that. Thugs would do that. Fascists would do that. Would-be theocrats would do that. A mob would do that. How is he doing interviews and not in jail? Yes, he is. I am guessing. Now, we're going to be doing another story about more rioters more insurgents from January 6th. So there are a few rioters who've already seen a judge, and now they're awaiting sentencing. I don't believe anyone has been sentenced yet. All right. Well, I have to tell you. So this is interesting. So I'm just going to back up a little bit. You may not know this, everyone, but I don't get along with everyone. In fact, some people would say I might have attitude with a handful of people within the godless community, right? So I go on B stream. I show up early because I'm always early because I'm obsessively compulsive about time. And when I show up on other people's shows, I'm ready. But I'm going to be honest. There have been shows I've just popped on and said, I don't know what I'm going to be doing. I'm just ready to perform. So B tells me, so I find out that there's going to be 2 other people joining me. And it's like, oh man, I'm going to behave myself if I don't like the people. Well, of course I like Godless Granny and I like Godless Engineer. Godless Engineer's been on the show, been on this channel before. So is Godless Granny in one of the after shows. And it's like, man, I hope I don't pop off if there's someone I don't like. But everything went well. All right. You don't understand the States. Cryptameria, most people in the States don't understand the States either. It's just sad but true. All right. So what are we doing? Are we doing halftime show? Let's do halftime show. I want to remind everyone there's no after party today. There's no open room. I have to go for an interview. A job interview? Yeah, a job interview that they actually pay me money. So I'm going to go do that today at 11. I have to run out of here, get in my car, drive over, and try to adult for a while. And then after the interview, I have to go for my regular job. I have to go to after that. My girlfriend, who's not here in the chat, she must be working today. She goes, so are you going to be going back to having 3 or 4 jobs? And it's like, yep. Before the apocalypse, of course, I had a handful of jobs. And I'll probably be going back to this kind of model again. Of course, I'll still be doing YouTube and I'll still be doing the blog too. But I'll probably be doing like 3 or 4 jobs. Well, thank you, Wild Eden. I appreciate the support. And of course, it's in human services. I'll be helping people who have disabilities. Ergo, the need for having a lot of jobs is to have enough money that keep the ship afloat. All right. So tummy rubs. All right, so halftime show, tummy rubs. I'm going to do a poll. I'm going to write something up on the YouTube page, the channel page, and ask people if they want halftime show or tummy rubs. So right now, we're going to do halftime tummy rubs right now. Let's do that. This is just weird, by the way. Even I know this is just weird, but it does fit with my sense of humor.
On the days that I don't have chocolate pudding, I think I'm a little bit less myself, but on the days that I have chocolate pudding, I'm 100% myself. I know it. It's just, I'm me.
I think that guy's entire YouTube channel is based on the fact he has a bushy beard and he has like savage hair. I think that's completely what it is. And he just says words. It's like, yeah, talk about chocolate pudding, brother. Talk about chocolate pudding. And I just want to see you talk about chocolate pudding because you got this savage hair and an incredible beard. Am I going to play it again? I'm going to play it again just in case you missed.
On the days that I don't have chocolate pudding, I think I'm a little bit less myself, but on the days that I have chocolate pudding, I'm 100% myself. I know it. It's just, I'm me.
All right. I'm going to check out the comments before we go into the next story. Hey, girlfriend is here. Excellent. Yep. All right. So what's the next story we're going to be doing? It's Pride Month. It's Pride Month. And one of the themes we talk about here during Pride Month is, of course, how companies love to tell you that they're pro-community. I remember the last time I went to Pride, it was just full of corporate messaging, of kiosks. In the Pride Parade, there were just, in fact, I'll tell you this. I rode in a health insurance, a Harvard, I think it's Harvard Pilgrim. I forget which health insurance. I don't know how I ended up on this float, on this boat, on this, float in the Pride Parade. But it wasn't really a float. It was more like a duck tour kind of thing, wave at people. But yeah, corporations have taken over Pride. Now, you may say, what's so evil about that, Andy Hall? And I'm glad that you asked that, Cool Cats. I'm glad that you asked that. And the reason why it's problematical that there are corporations who have, am I going to say taken over Pride Parades or Pride Month? The problem is that they're not pro-community. Let's take a look at this story. Link in the description, everyone. And this is a long piece, too. I cannot go over this entire piece. It is just too long. I'm going to just give you bullet points. 25 corporations marking Pride donated over $10 million to anti-LGBTQ plus politicians. A study. Wow, who would have guessed that Walmart and Comcast would be a bunch of bastards, huh? CVS Health, AT&T, Walmart, and Comcast among companies that supported anti-LGBTQ candidates. Popular information reports. I'm shocked. Shocked and surprised. I guess they're the same words, shocked and surprised, that companies who say that they're pro-LGBTQ plus community actually give politicians who hate us money. Let's take a look. June is Pride Month, and many U.S. corporations are advertising their support for the LGBTQ plus community. A new study, however, has found that 25 companies otherwise eager to wave the rainbow flag have donated more than $10 million to anti-LGBTQ plus federal and state politicians over the last 2 years. The study, released on Monday by the Popular Information newsletter, found that alongside pronouncements of LGBTQ plus support, corporations including CVS, AT&T, Walmart, and Comcast have supported candidates who seek to block or otherwise restrict equal rights based on gender or sexual orientation. Wow. I'm not surprised. Is anyone here surprised about that? That what is it? Walmart and Comcast, AT&T and CVS, they want it both ways. They want to tell you that they totally support us while at the same time undermining us in very real ways. Story continues. Many of the corporations have 100. Oh, this is the problem, right? And this is what bothers me. And for those of you, most of you are skeptics, right? And you're Jedi Knights, right? You're Jedi Knights of skepticism. You know that when someone gives you a number, right? A corporation gives you a number, a biased news source gives you a number, you think to yourself, I wonder how they came up with that. I wonder how much that number is just propaganda. Jedi Knights of Skepticism. I like that. We are Jedi Knights of Skepticism. Here we go. All right. So many of the corporations have 100% ratings on the Human Rights Campaign 2020 Corporate Equality Index, which measures workplace policies and public commitment to the LGBTQ community. The index does not take political donations into account. So this HRC index, they take everything into account except how corporations spend their money on their PACs, on their political action committees. It seems a little deceptive. The study found that CVS, while receiving a perfect HRC score and announcing on Twitter that it's proud to join more than 100 companies that have signed HRC's business statement opposing anti-LGBTQ state legislation, also supported sponsors of anti-trans legislation in Texas, North Carolina, and Tennessee, though it's through its corporate political action committee. Others named in the study include cable giant Comcast, which has donated more than $1 million to anti-LGBTQ plus politicians since 2019. A Comcast subsidiary, Xfinity, recently tweeted, "Pride is the love we share. And with Xfinity, it's pride all year. Lies and deceit." I know, you would think that the people who give such great customer service, like Comcast and Xfinity, the people who give you like a 12-hour window for servicing your cable needs, all right, so that's a bit hyperbole there. They give you like, what, a 2, 3, 4-hour window that their technician may show up at? Oh man, this just hurts my brain. Comcast itself has created a virtual pride world where we will feature events, pride floats, pride flags, and even a pronoun guide for employees. But according to the study by Popular Information, Comcast has also donated more than $1.1 million to anti-LGBTQ plus politicians since 2019, including $30,000 to the sponsors of the anti-trans legislation in Florida and Texas, and $1,095,500 to 149 members of Congress, marked 0 by HRC. All right, I'm going to look at the chat first before I'm going to do the final rage comments here. See what you all are thinking about. All right. Wow, girlfriend. Substitute. This is about the show, and of course, the halftime tummy rub show. Substitute heroin for chocolate pudding. That's funny. Spot on. And Marmaduke Scarlet goes, not surprised at all that companies would say one thing and do another. All right. I wish there was another internet company here, and Comcast. That's yes. I share your feels there. I share your feels, Jess M. All right, so here's the last screenshot, the last bit from this article. Google defended its record because, of course, you might be surprised at this too. Google's part of the trouble. They're in the trouble bubble in terms of giving money to anti-trans and anti-LGBTQ plus politicians while still trumpeting their pro-community policies. Google defended its record in supporting the rights of all LGBTQ people and said a contribution to a candidate doesn't mean that Google agrees with that candidate on every issue. In fact, we may disagree strongly on some issues. Amazon took a similar position. So it's one thing to disagree about minor issues, right? It's one thing to disagree. It's another thing. And, just because we had the Marjorie Taylor Greene video earlier in the show, and just because the country almost delved into full-blown fascism and our republic was almost turned into some kind of banana state, banana republic, maybe it's safe to give a comparison that, hey, if it was Germany in the early 1930s and there are companies giving money to Nazis, to the National Socialist Workers' Party, their response would be something like, well, we don't agree with this Hitler fella on everything, but we don't need to. We're going to give him money anyway. That's the same type of reasoning. Rainbow washing is real. That's right. You have the whitewashing and the rainbow washing. Once again, if you want to check a look at all the companies, please check out the link in the description below, and you can see a bunch. Like I said, it's a long story. I couldn't give. I didn't want to spend like half an hour on it because I just get angry, or than I am already. All right. So what are we doing? What are the stories we've covered so far? Australia, rise of the nuns. Look out, religion. You might be on the way out. Maybe. Marjorie Taylor Greene explains how she didn't understand the Holocaust, and that's why she compared the Holocaust to mask mandates. The rioter, Mr. Barnett, who put his feet on Nancy Pelosi's desk during the January 6th insurrection, he sat down with Russian media to talk about his story. And of course, rainbow washing, hate that term, love it, explains the whole situation of companies say that they're pro-pride, and yet they still give money to anti-LGBTQ plus politicians. Oh, Simply Secular Dave, you're so kind. Let's give Andy a big like. If you don't become writer, professor, captain, doctor, chef, psychologist, biologist, songwriter, astronaut, and pastor of the Church of St. Canard without likes. This is true. You can. I just want to point out, too, everyone, that if you head over to my blog, Laughing in Disbelief on Pathos, I posted Paul Kamish's video today about how he pranked the conspiracy theorist. If you weren't here the other day, Paul Kamish showed us how he was talking with someone on YouTube on a stream. I believe it's Iger Television, and how Paul explains or describes Iger Television, the man who runs it, as someone who believes in every conspiracy theory. Every conspiracy theory? He's a flat earth creationist, thinks that the jab, thinks that the COVID vaccine makes you magnetic. And Paul did this great prank on this guy, exposing how gullible he really is. I wrote up a small post, placed it on my blog. And to tell you the truth, everyone, if you're a content creator, and if you do something incredible like that, because I thought it was hilarious, to tell you the truth, and Paul did it in such a straight face, then I'm more than happy to put it up on my blog, try to give you some more exposure, so. Oh, Brainbug, I know, the open room notification. I did cancel it. There's no open room today. I have to go to this interview and plead for pennies, basically. Oh, thank you, Simply Secular Dave. There's the link. Dave put it into the chat. It's all about Paul Kamish doing that prank on Iger Television, exposing how gullible that particular conspiracy theorist is. Are we going to say all conspiracy theorists are gullible? Maybe not all. Probably most. 99.9%. It was hilarious, Cryptameria. It was a hilarious bit he did. And like any good prank, Paul planned it out. He set a trap, and then he executed the trap. He executed the prank. And what was telling about conspiracy theorists is that Mr. Iger Television still refused to believe the debunking. He still held on to this conspiracy theory that the vaccine makes you magnetic. Wow. All right. So let's do the next story. Oh, it's another rioter. Oh man, it just hurts. Marge, dude, it makes you think. So she is a rioter. She was in front of a judge and said basically, hey, I didn't do everything wrong. I did say pray for America. This is the face of stupid white supremacy and fascism. She could be like a younger version of Marjorie Taylor Greene, to tell you the truth. She has that same kind of dull look in her eyes, that dull, but I'm still going to say crazy words that I don't understand, look in her eyes. And you're going to ask me, Andy, did she get caught because she stormed the Capitol and posted it on Facebook, posted on social media for days, and without thinking that the feds were going to catch up with her? Yes. This person, I know you're surprised, this Mensa member here did all that. Let's take a look at the story, everyone. Here it is. Anti-Vaxx Capitol rioter pleads guilty with husband and then defends her online rants. A Virginia woman who stormed the Capitol alongside her realtor husband. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to continue. While holding a sign protesting COVID vaccines, wanted to set the record straight as she pleaded guilty on Monday, telling the judge that her angry Facebook messages about the insurrection also included kind words like pray for America. Pray for America are not code. They're not kind words. They are dog whistles. They are, let's do something horrible and explain it away with pray for America. Let's not do anything about gun violence and just say pray for America. We're not going to do anything about the ongoing climate disaster and just say pray for America. Jessica Bustle and her husband Joshua, and I'm going to digress here for a minute too. I hate the name Joshua, right? If anyone has read the book of Joshua in the Old Testament knows that Joshua, as depicted in the Old Testament, was just a genocidal maniac. The whole book of Joshua is just a book of genocide and ethnic cleansing. Pleaded guilty on Monday to a misdemeanor charge of parading, demonstrating, or picketing in the Capitol building after participating in the January 6th riot alongside thousands of MAGA supporters. Prosecutors allege that Jessica was holding a sign which read in part, "Vaccine injury is the real pandemic," during the siege, while Joshua followed behind her filming until they were ultimately forced out by authorities. Everyone, maybe the real pandemic in this country is just stupidity and religion, right? The particularly toxic mix of evangelical that happens to be the backbone of the Republican Party. I wanted to say I'm admitting guilt to the things that I said and that I'm sorry for saying what I said. Also, there were other things that were said in the post that were kind, like pray for America. Those things, those aren't the full things that I wrote, Jessica Bustle said during her Monday hearing after Judge Thomas Hogan read the offenses against the couple. So her defense is the pray for America defense, everyone. A mitigating factor in all of this. Yeah, she broke the law. Sure. She wanted to disrupt the counting of electoral votes and help bring in a dictator, Donald J. Trump. Sure, she did all those. But you know what she did too? She wrote down pray for America. Maybe she shouldn't be punished as much. That's really the argument. The Bustles were over 400 individuals who've been charged in the siege, and the third and fourth rioters to cop to their crimes. According to their plea agreement, the couple agreed to a possible maximum sentence of 6 months in jail and a fine up to $5,000. They have also agreed to pay $1,000 total in restitution. Prosecutors allege that Jessica Bustle meticulously documented her participation in the Capitol riot with her husband on Facebook, including uploading videos of the siege and writing several posts about her experience. Of course, because if you're going to do something stupid and illegal, the first thing you want to do is just blast it on social media. 6 months in jail. There should be no plea bargain. There should be no plea bargain. Just throw them in jail. That's what should happen. No slaps on the wrist. You know, we live in a country where black men are being shot in the back by cops. We see stories of police misbehavior. And this clown, for breaking numerous laws, at the most, is going to get 6 months in jail. Come on. To quote Joe Biden, come on, man. Just before the bustle stormed the castle, before the castle, I'm sorry, I was thinking of The Princess Bride. Just before the bustle stormed the Capitol, Jessica posted a selfie on Facebook alongside the caption, "We don't win this thing sitting on the sidelines, excited to stand for truth with my fellow patriots and freedom fighters in DC today. Let's do this." Jessica was wearing a knit hat with the phrase, "Lions, not sheep." Maybe it should just say, "Idiots." Lions, not sheep. Come on. Okay. I just lost the panel here. Lions not sheep in the photo, taken in the car with her anti-vaccine visible, with her anti-sign visible in the backseat. In another Facebook post, Jessica wrote, "Pence is a traitor. We stormed the Capitol. An unarmed, peaceful woman down the hall from us was shot in the neck by the cops." Yeah, that's not really true. It's insane here. Pray for America. She also added that Antifa puppets, I don't know if they were like puppets, right? I mean, that's what it sounds like, that infiltrated the rally were the true perpetrators of chaos during the siege that forced lawmakers to go into hiding for hours and left 5 dead. "We need a revolution," Jessica Bustle wrote in the post. "Keep praying for America and its people." Pray for America. You know, is that the new Sig Heil? Is that Deutschland, über alles kind of talk? I think it is. I'm going to check out the chat. I've been ranting a bit. Should be 20 years in jail. There should be a considerable amount of time for people who stormed the Capitol and who aren't really sorry about what they did. That's the thing. Cryptameria says, "If this happened in Canada, you would have nuked us." It is treated like a joke in the States. By many people, the January 6th insurrection is considered to be a joke. I would like to say that this lady is an evil person. I will second you on this. And Sammy Jenkins says, she looks like sheep. That vacant, but yet proud. She is really a shining example of Dunning-Kruger right here, everyone. The Dunning-Kruger effect. The incompetent don't realize that they're incompetent because they're incompetent. I would say, yeah, she is the poster child for that right there. Vacuous. I like that word for her. Let's see what else is going. I am just checking out the chat. Well, you know, in Tibet, which is, being colonized by the Chinese, dominated by the Chinese, and has been for decades, America comparatively is a land of freedom. Once again, in comparison to what's going on in Tibet and what has been going on in Tibet for decades. Let's see. I think we covered all the stories today, everyone. And the stories are, once again, letting you know there's no aftertime after party show today because I have to go do a job interview. The stories. Australian nuns on the rise. I did a little rant about atheists and the problem with atheists. Don't raise your kids to be atheists, everyone. If you have grandchildren. The thing is about atheists is that when they're young, they go into college, they go into high school, they're targeted by cults. And if you don't know what you stand for, if you don't know why religion is a pile of crap, then those kids can easily fall into the trap of faith. We also talked about Marjorie Taylor Greene's one of the crap, in terms of crappy apologies I've seen. Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene kind of ranks. And of course, she was apologizing for comparing mask mandates with Nazism, with the Holocaust. The Russia writer who, the writer who gave an interview with Russian television days before the Putin Biden sit-down summit. The LGBTQ companies, pro-LGBTQ companies, who supposedly are pro us, but in all reality give money to those who hate us. And of course, the idiot, I'm going to show her picture one more time because she is such so happy with herself, self-possessed idiot. That woman and her husband, who are in trouble with the feds because, of course, they stormed the Capitol building. Let's do something funny. Let's do a last video. Is it cat related? I think it is cat related.
I summon a cat. He has arrived. Cooter, what have you been doing today? All you do is sleep. It must be so hard being a cat.
Now, look, I have a tabby cat, Biscuit. Biscuit's never going to get to Biscuit size. I mean, never going to get to Cooter size. But you should hear my cat purr. The cat purrs like a lion. That's what I'll say right now. All right. We have to teach children about predatory recruiting. We do. We have to teach them that there is a game plan to get you into these cults. And I'm including, mainstream forms of Christianity with that too. Good for you, remember Sammy Jenkins. 15-year-old is an anti-theist. Yeah. That's a great video, isn't it? I love Cooter. That's a great cat video. We let him explore Christianity of his own choice, and he ended up thinking it is ridiculous. And yeah, it is criminally ridiculous. That's what it is. All right. Biscuit is also very vocal like Cooter. Yeah. Biscuit talks a lot. It's funny. When we go to sleep at nighttime, Biscuit basically celebrates by meowing loudly for maybe a minute or so. All right, so let's do the thank you video. And then once again, no halftime show. I apologize. I have to go for a job interview. Basically, I'm already in my job interview clothes, and I have to run out the door and do this thing. So thanks for watching, everyone. Thank you, chat. Thank you, patrons and members. And here is the official thank you video. You purr when you're sick, Dr. Mordecai. I don't know if that's healthy. I'll see you tomorrow, everyone. Bye.